All right, all right. Let's get into it. What's going on, fellas? This is Brian, aka Uncle B. You are now welcome into the Goodwood University office hours where we get a chance to communicate with each other. Let me know in the comment section what your questions are, and I will get them answered when it pertains to sexual health, sexual performance, just getting everything working the way you need it to work. And today we got an interesting one because we're talking about everybody's favorite topic, food. We're talking about food in both directions. We're going to talk about foods that will actually uh, uh, help you with your erectile dysfunction. And I'm also going to throw in foods that you need to avoid. And that's a big thing because we typically end up eating all these foods. So if you could go ahead to the comment section, let me know where you are from, where you are representing, so I know who I'm talking to. Uh, and just a reminder, we do this 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's how often we get it in. So hop on in, ask your questions, and we will go for it. Let me see. Just add a little something in here into the chat right quick. And let's go. All right. What's going on, George? NYC in the house. I'm going to stop eating that animal protein. Good idea. Good idea. All right. So yeah. Once again, yeah, we are in here. Let's go ahead and get rocking and rolling. For those guys who are new, we do have that comment section for you to ask your questions, and we're going to get into it because we're talking about the top foods to help you avoid erectile dysfunction. And here's some things to keep in mind. A couple of things as I go through this list is that there are foods all over the world. There are it's a quarter million edible plants that are on this planet, and we only using like 4% of that. So hopefully this list will open you up to some other thought processes about what you can eat. Because there's some things I'm going to mention that may not be available over there in the UK. I'm not sure about that, Mr. Sam's. Nottingham in the house. Uh huh. George is like that chicken. You gotta get rid of that chicken. I understand, man. The things they be doing, but basically what we're looking to do is to these foods will help stop the clogging of your arteries, and this is really important when we're talking about erectile dysfunction because the capillaries in your penis are the smallest in the body, one of the smallest in the body. So you don't need any clogging up. We're talking about one blood platelet is going through your penis at a time. That's how small it is. So you don't need any clogging. You need things to actually get better down there. And when we're talking about breaking down those clogged erections, and that's basically what ends up happening. These the things I'm going to be talking about. First of all, to George's point, uh, we're all talking about plant based. All this is going to be plants because when it comes to eating animals, I'm not against people that if you want to eat animals, gotcha, not a problem. The issue is that if you have erectile dysfunction, you're having issues down there, then that's going to add to the problem. So it's now on you. And so basically, when we're talking about that bad cholesterol, what it end up happening is that as your the blood is going through, it starts thickening up on the sides of the walls. Less blood can go through, and you just keep running into problems. Especially when we're talking about your penis, because and also your testicles, because your testicles is what's going to produce the vast majority of your testosterone, and the bursting and burning of testosterone is what fuels an erection. So if you do not have all of this clear, all of this right here clear, you got problems. You got problems that you don't want to have. So let's go ahead and talk about those foods. One of the first things on this list is celery. Celery is on there because it actually acts like testosterone in your body. It's a steroid, has a plant steroid that acts like testosterone in your body. So that's great. Asparagus, that's good with the zinc and the vitamin B. And zinc is actually good for your sperm formation. So, um, and when we come to just something that you can drink, green tea, perfect. That's going to work out well for you. It helps boost metabolism and it slows down your risk of prostate cancer. Obviously, that's a good thing. Broccoli, that's going to normalize blood pressure. I mean, we're talking about a lot of fiber for your digestion, which is hugely important because a lot of people are sort of just stuffed up. If you're stuffed up in your stomach, it's going to show up in other places. So spinach. Obviously, we talk about, you got that Popeye the Sailor Man thing going on. It also improves your eyesight. So you got that. It's helping with your blood pressure and it's helping you with your muscle strength. So these are all great foods to eat. Make sure you have this on your grown man's grocery list. Also, the avocado. That's great for decreasing cholesterol. So you need, once again, let's get that cholesterol out your system. It has a bunch of vitamins, vitamin B5, B6, C, and K. And once again, it has a lot of fiber and not a lot of sugar in there. Um, let's see what else we got going on here. I'll just check in the comment section. So yeah, cauliflower is great because that's going to flush out estrogen. Um, and two things. A lot of times people get, it's like, well, estrogen and testosterone are, at odds with each other. It's actually cholesterol deals more with testosterone. It's the opposite. Estrogen is actually needed in our body. The issue is that we have too much, basically because of the foods that we eat and the environment that we're in. You have guys who end up with too much estrogen, which is one of the reasons why with Goodwood, Goodwood Advanced in particular, this, oh, let me just this right here, Goodwood. It's a liquid formula that once you take it, part of its job is to actually stop your testosterone from turning into estrogen, which happens as you get older. So that's one of the reasons why guys get weak. So you need the food, and you got to supplement right there. Um, Pomegranates lowers blood pressure. That's very helpful because if you have high blood pressure, once again, one platelet at a time going through in your penis. If you do not have, if you have high blood pressure, it's going to cause all types of problems. Cinnamon, which is actually an aphrodisiac, it is also one of the ingredients that is in Goodwood Advanced, and it keeps your arteries from hardening, which is really important. And George has a question. Can you explain how to use Goodwood? I will do that in a hot second. Let me just go ahead and run through this list right quick, and we'll get into that. My man said, even doing push-ups before making love helps a lot. My wife is pregnant with my second son. Congratulations, sir. You're doing your work. You're doing your work, and you're doing a good job of paying attention to your health. Your son's going to need that. All right. Kale both flushes out estrogen and increases testosterone levels with magnesium and garlic. I chop up garlic. I got garlic into it's just helpful. Dilates blood vessels, prevents blood vessel hardening, and lowers blood pressure. All great things when it comes to your erections. And of course, we got oatmeal, used by 75% of Americans, and is one of the first cereals that people were using. It helps get rid of that bad cholesterol, rich in fiber, and improves digestion. We also got blueberries and strawberries. That works very well. Lowers blood pressure, dilates blood vessels. That means it opens up the blood vessels so more blood can go through. Very important. Got a lot of fiber, antioxidants, and low in sugar. It's sweet, but it's low in sugar. All right. And when it comes to the nuts, not these nuts, but nuts, regular old nuts. We got protein, there's fiber rich in there, and it helps with blood pressure. You get your vitamin C. It also increases nitric oxide. For those guys who do not know, nitric oxide actually is a small, very small molecule that just appears and disappears. It's like 1 second of a life. It helps push blood through. A lot of times we think it's just our heart that's pumping blood throughout our body, but think about it. Every fat cell has blood, has a line of blood going to it, has a vein going to it. Every piece of your body has blood running through it, so it's not just your heart. Nitric oxide is really important. So getting the nitric oxide to push the blood through uh, makes sense. And also extra virgin olive oil. You have to make sure you get the right kind. Get the cold pressed 100% organic virgin olive oil. It helps reduce blood pressure. And so basically, when it comes down to it, all these foods are good, but you still have to do the other things with it. So, of course, you have to maintain an ideal weight, whatever that is for you. All these foods are going to help you with your cholesterol and your blood pressure, which is obviously important. And just be careful about what you eat. The problem that we have in today's society is that, I mean, think about it. You go into a 7-Eleven, it's nothing but sugar and corn. Sugar, corn, and salt. That's basically the main ingredients in there. And of course, smoking, whether it's nicotine or weedotine, whatever you're smoking, vapes, anything, stop that, man. You know that's not good for you. And you want to avoid steroids. Steroids, it was used by bodybuilders back in the day, and it just got into a point where people think you can just take steroids and it actually makes things better. It actually makes things worse. It makes it makes it so you have to work out. Uh, and so if you're not already doing that, you think that's a cheat code. It's not a good cheat code at all. And of course, exercising regularly is going to make a big difference. So also, I did want to run through and talk about the 13 foods that can cause erectile dysfunction. I think that's important, but I do want to answer George's question. So, how to take good wood. All right. So I got good wood. Boom, boom, right there. There we go. I got Goodwood Advanced right here. It's a liquid formula, has 9 different herbs in there, including nettle, which stops the process of your body turning testosterone into estrogen, or having your testosterone bind to other hormones that it doesn't need to bind to. You need the free testosterone in order to have your erections. That's why this is important. So, but yeah, basically, you can just do a quick double squeeze of that, and it comes up to this much. So you want basically 3 of these in one serving. It's a teaspoon. Basically, that's what it is. Yeah, a teaspoon 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, early evening. The reason why you want to do it early evening, because it is a stimulant. It will keep you awake. So, and let me go ahead and stick it in there for my guys here. If you want to check out uh Goodwood, there's the coupon code for you. So just go to givegoodwood.com, and there you go. So yeah, you need all of that in your system. So let's go ahead and talk about the other side of things, which is the foods to avoid. Number 1 on this list is soy, and it's not because of soy. That's the funny thing. A lot of people get confused by this, and here's why. Soy is actually good for you. There was a study that was done of the place where it was originally grown in Japan, and soy, the people were living long. Great, this is perfect. Problem is, over here in the West, we got a hold of soy. It's basically sort of tasteless, and so you can throw it into just about anything, and it grows well, and you can process it well. So therefore, soy is the second most used product, right behind corn. So it's in everything. And so, instead of it being good for you, by the time you take, too much of anything is going to be bad for you. By the time you take all of that, it's actually going to lower your testosterone levels by a good 19% uh, after 4 weeks of just consuming soy. So get that out. White bread and processed carbs, that's just going to actually affect your estrogen levels, increase your estrogen levels, and lower your testosterone. So you want to avoid that. Obviously, you want to avoid alcohol, and bottled water. The water isn't the problem; it's the bottles themselves. BPA is a chemical found in most plastic food containers, and it has a negative impact on the fertility of both men and women. And let's just talk about canned soups right quick. Canned soups, they're just high in sodium. You want to avoid all of that sodium in there. And sodas, they got that high fructose corn syrup in there. It raises cholesterol and damages the arteries in your penis. And farmed fish. Farmed fish is not great for you. Microwave popcorn, not great for you. I know I'm talking about. There's some guys are sitting there like, oh man, this is in my refrigerator right now. You gotta, hey, just letting you know. Processed meat, dairy, pizza, all of that is going to be problematic for you. This is actually interesting for me. Mint, a study found that spearmint can significantly reduce testosterone levels, and I used to like love spearmint. Just it used to grow in our backyard. You just go out there, just pick it, and just chew on it. Yeah, that's a problem. uh, and so fried foods, red meat, all of these things can cause issues. So that's the list of things that you want to avoid. So we talked about the foods that you should eat, and those are the foods that you should not eat, that you need to be aware of. So uh all of that is necessary. So any other questions, go ahead and put that in the comment section. Go ahead and put in the comment section where you are from. Let me know what kind of questions you are. For those who are not familiar, my name is Brian, aka Uncle B. This is Goodwood University office hours. There we go. Let me just show the logo. Bam. So what is Goodwood University? That's you can check it out in the link below. That's where you get the information that you need in terms. It's a collection of all the information that you would need to get your sexual performance right, get your sexual health right. We actually have a program called ECS 25 where we talk about your energy, sleep, exercise, intermittent fasting, and soul. And we have a whole system where it allows you to track yourself and so that you get better. This is the part that's really important. We talk about food. And the reason why we're talking about food is because food often comes in a pattern, right? People talk about breakfast, lunch, and dinner. How often are you eating? Well, as if you just did that every week, that's 21 days a week. So you have your pattern set. It's like, is that pattern working for you? Unfortunately for me, I had a pattern that was going on with, I think I was eating like every morning, I would have 3 eggs, and some sort of meat in there, and put the cheese, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it would cause problems. So, and then for lunch, I'm eating, something fried, and then for dinner, some stir fry. It was not a good look. What's going on, Nevon, Lavelle? All right, love it. From Trinidad in the house. Mike from Oklahoma. He asked, Mike from Oklahoma, what kind of products, herbs were you talking about yesterday? Okay, let's get into it. Let's see. I think I was talking about I'll just go through them all. Ashwagandha. This is actually from Mother Nature's Organics. We partnered with them because they have a great product line. You can find this at givegoodwood.com as well. But we have the ashwagandha. I was also talking about black maca. Um, let me see what else we have here. Uh, 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 um, uh, yeah, obviously, good wood and am I missing something? Juanparo Macho. There we go. Juanparo Macho. I probably need to put that into the comment section. But all of these are, like I said, at givegoodwood.com. And these herbs do different things. And this is the reason why we don't just have, initially we just had good wood as a product. And, obviously I'm going to tell people to, to take that because we've been selling that for 23 years. And so, yes, we have a record of it working well for a great number of people. But the reason why we went into, having other herbs, because other herbs have their place also. It just so happens that Goodwood has 8 different herbs in it. Well, Goodwood Advanced has 9 different herbs in it. And so it's good for, if you're first trying to figure out what you need to attack, what needs to happen, then this is going to help you out. Or once you get an idea of what else you need, then you can start adding things. So, for example, ashwagandha actually is great for taking in the evening, so you can get a good sleep. Um, Here's the thing though, with ashwagandha, it takes a good 4 weeks to 60 days for it to work. And so there's a 1 to 2 months for it to work, and it's different for everybody. The same thing with black maca, that takes a little bit less time for you to start feeling the effects. With good wood, it's designed to be a stimulant, so it's going to work faster. That's the difference. But you need to understand that difference in order to get the best out of it. Okay. Hope that answered your question. Ways up, Phil. All right. What's going on, Little Rocket? Yo, what's going on? So, yeah. All of that is good. Is necessary to understand because they also do different things. So, Juan Paro Macho. They call that the Peruvian Viagra. That actually works well in terms of giving you stamina, and that takes a little while for it to work as well. So, having those different things in your system at the same time. Before, I was very hesitant about consuming several different herbs, but then I started thinking about it. It's like, Brian, you were consuming fried chicken, hot dogs, everything with all types of chemicals in it. And you didn't question it at all. And all of a sudden you get some good stuff and you want to question whether or not you should take it. So I do take several different at the same times, and that works. All right. And J10H, what's going on with you, sir? Glad you're back in the house. Will Good will be available on Amazon in the UK anytime soon. Yes. Oh my God, it's been taking forever for us to get on there. We I think I mentioned this before, but we have to go through our paces in terms of getting the right paperwork. Amazon doesn't want any crap on their site, and we fully agree and support that. So because we don't sell crap, and so it's definitely going to be on there. Mr. Lavelle asked about your thoughts on reverse Kegels. Um, it's movement. Kegels or reverse Kegels um, are, are good for you. It's just a question of, the issue is overdoing it. That's typically the issue because it's like, oh, Kegels. Oh, you figure out how easy it is to do. For those that don't know, it's sort of like just stopping the flow of peeing. That's the Kegels. So that's the reverse Kegels is like, sort of pushing back, going the opposite direction, and both of them are helpful. Um, I mean, it's just helping your pelvic floor, and so that just helps in terms of your erections and being able to last longer. It's once again, your body has hundreds of muscles, and working them, any work you do is going to be great for them. Curtis Moore, super chat. Appreciate you, sir. Appreciate you, sir. Anybody else want to tip in? Hey, I don't have a problem with that at all. What are your thoughts on Tongat Ali? Any precautions? Um, Tongat Ali, I would say, is like many other herbs. You have to take it to see for yourself. There's some people who swear by it, and some people is like, I didn't feel anything. And I think part of that is once again you have to pay attention to your patterns. So it's like people will do things. Whenever I'm talking with clients, um, I'm asking them what their pattern is, and a lot of times, for example, quick example, there was a guy who was a teacher, and so things were going well, got the kids and everything. Then at one point, everything just stopped. He just stopped working. He couldn't understand what was going on. We were going through, we were talking about things like what was going on, what had changed in his life. And basically, one the summer before he had this issue, he's taught summer school for the first time, so he didn't have a break. So he's also a basketball coach, so he's up late at night. He's got some weight issues and things like that. So all of these things combined, and when he made that one change, that changed everything. So that applies to a person's pattern. So you could be taking Tanga Ali and doing other things wrong, and say it doesn't work. So really it's all about paying attention. So yeah, I would say Tonga Ali, good reputation. Some people swear by it. Go ahead and give it a try, but the most important thing is to keep track. Okay, great question there. Great question, Curtis. Appreciate it, man. um all right. Your thoughts on heart, liver plus heart plus testicle organ blend for test out? Okay. uh I'm not sure what you mean by that. Can you go ahead and give me a little bit more context? I'm not sure. Are you talking about consuming liver, heart, and testicle organ blend? I'm not. Uh, yeah, yeah. Let me know what you're talking about. But I appreciate you just asking that question in the meantime. So yeah, but yeah, I do want to make sure you guys understand when it comes to all of this stuff, it is all about patterns. I mean, we live in a pattern. We got 4 seasons. Well, it depends on where you live. We have the seasons. We know the reason why you know your age is because we go or you take this pattern around the sun. So everything that you do is a pattern, and as you're changing in age, your patterns change also. Just like when you were a kid, you were running around all the time. You just ran for no reason. Then people just kept telling you to stop until you get to the point where you just don't run anymore. Well, you need to keep running now. So, um, and so, if you're, especially as you're getting older, you need to make sure you are focusing in on, you know, all of this. I would say this a lot of times I'm talking to guys and they'll say, well, I can't do this because of my job. I can't do this because of this. I can't do. There is no level of urgency higher than your body. Full stop, point blank. Can't do anything else without your body. And I see this in relatives and just guys that I know as they get older. There's this thought process that I'm just going to get older. Get rid of that thought process. Do not believe that. That is not the way this works, because I feel younger now because of the things that I'm doing than I did at I feel younger now when I was 35. I would say I feel like I'm 25, but just there's still some differences, obviously. But yeah, you have to pay attention to what is going on. Hmm. Okay. Wayne, if I wanted to discontinue a product and try Goodwood, who do I talk to? You can talk to us. You can go to just give us a shout at team at Airs Naturals. I'm going to put that into the chat. Team at airsnaturals.com. And you can yeah, just give us a shout. That's what we do. We make sure you get taken care of. Uh-huh. Ah, okay. I see Mr. Lavelle. I'm gonna answer that in the question. Uh-huh. All right. We have a testosterone level question. All right. What's going on, Trey Poppy? What would you say a good, not normalized level of testosterone for men 40 and over? Okay. For those guys who do not know, the normal testosterone range is anywhere from 300 to 800 nanograms per deciliter. That's on average. That's for men. For women, it's like 20 to 70 nanograms per deciliter, which is why that whole concept of men and women being the same is like insane. But um, when it comes to your testosterone levels, normalized for 40, it really is depends on the individual. Me currently, I'm at what am I at? I'm about 700 nanograms per deciliter, and which is pretty great for being 52. We actually use this. Let's Get Checked. This is a testosterone kit company that we partner with, and they have. Let me just show you right quick. They have a whole package here. It's just a way that you can go ahead and take a test at home. Um, Not sure if we had that in the description for this particular video, but yeah, let's get checked.com. They are a great company to work with in terms of you being able to get your testosterone checked. And so, I would say aim as high as you possibly could. I would say at 40, you want to sit at about a good 600. You want to. My goal is to get above 800, and that's a good goal to have. It's not about taking fake testosterone or doing anything. It's about taking care of your body so that you can get to the highest level possible. And let me tell you, there's a huge difference, because when I first started this journey, I was at I think it was 360 nanograms per deciliter. Huge difference. In order for me to perform well, I would have to be hitting everything. I would have to get the good night's sleep. I'd have to, eat correctly, not have any drinks. It was the whole program that's normal to me now. But I was just getting into it, and it was like at that level, at such a low level, you have little room for error. That's the reason why most guys who are 5, 6, or 7 on the sexual performance scale, which is basically saying that they're really unreliable, it's because their testosterone levels are lower. And so everything has to be on point. You have to understand the time of the day because your testosterone levels dip 20% during the day. They're the highest in the morning. All these other things that come into account, all these techniques and tips. Be careful with eating sugar because that lowers your testosterone. All these things I had to do. Whereas when you're sitting here at 700, huh? Yeah, I mean, I still do these things anyway to get to 700 and stay at 700. But if I make a mistake or something like that, go out, I have myself a drink, and they're like, "Oh man!" Typically, I got to a point if I had a drink 2 nights before the event, it was a problem. Now it's like, oh, I had a drink the night before. I don't drink nowhere near as much as I did before, but even still, it's not. I still have some give room, so I can stay reliable. So that's what you want to do. All right, all right, everybody. Mendelssohn, what's going on with you, sir? What are your thoughts on ginkgo biloba? It's great. It's great. Typically, I haven't seen people use that for. Um, yeah, typically people are using that more for mental clarity. That helps out a lot in terms of it being used for sexual health reasons. I don't see necessarily a clearly direct link, but I always say anything that's going to help any part of your body is going to help your penis. Um, and this is just, and I'll put it to you like this: I've actually improved my eyesight. I know this is jumping off to a little bit, but I improved my eyesight, and I did this by using a technique where basically I'm looking at nothing. And the way you do that is by, I can see over here, up here, down here, all at the same time, using my peripheral vision, and also using a different instrument that I breathe through that helps with my lungs. All of that just help with my vision being much better. I needed reading glasses, and I don't need them anymore. Does that help with my erection? Yeah. How? Well, because I can see clearer. It's less stress on my eyes. It's less stress on me personally. I don't have to run around looking for putting on the glasses and all that good stuff. But all of that is going to help at some level or another. So all of that to say that, yeah, go ahead with the ginkgo biloba. Keep it going. Uh-huh. Right. What's your thoughts on Shilajit? I have not used that to boost your testosterone. Have you ever used it? I have not used it. I guarantee you, I will. As soon as what I tend to do, because I make recommendations, is I find out who the supplier is, where they're sourcing it from, and go from there. But yeah, I'm at this point now where I am, any herb that's out there that's going to help me, I'm paying attention to it. I'm going to use it. All right. All right. Let's see what we have here. Yvonne said, I just had my, hope I'm saying the name correctly, sir. I just had my potent tea blend mix I made myself. I've been drinking it daily for 3 weeks now, and I'm seeing improvement. It consists of 17 plus herbs targeted to boost libido, testo, and pee. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I have no problem with that. I used to have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that anymore. Whatever you can do to help, get your supplement game up. It does make a huge difference. It does make a huge difference. Uh-huh. Yep, you want it, man. Today I'm going to go buy some pounds, some pounds, 1 pound of pumpkin seed. I heard it's so good for men that I'm going to blend it up and add it to a jar and then add it to my mixture. We as men should take zinc daily. Yep. Um, no problems with that at all. In fact, zinc is sort of hard for a lot of people to get to because it typically, we're getting zinc from the Earth's crust. That's where zinc starts from. So we're getting it as we're eating plants. You pulling up that carrot, and you got a little bit of dirt on there. That's the zinc. You don't need a lot of it. We're talking about milligrams of it, but it's very important. So that's the reason why we have zinc supplementation. But if you can get it from natural sources, such as pumpkin seeds, go for it. Go for it. So yeah. Um, all right. So we got a question. Is it dangerous? You got to tell me what it is, Mr. Akai. Okay. Great question. I want to know what's dangerous too. Let me know. Let me know. But yeah, we are coming up on the end of our hour, half an hour here. If you have any questions, go ahead and put those into the comment section right now. If you have not done so, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, that like button, that notification bell. I do want to say another shout out to my man Curtis. Hit me up on super chat. Really do appreciate that. J10H, hey, good to see you again. Trey Poppy, I haven't seen you before, man. But good question. And same thing to Mr. Lavelle coming with those with the long list of questions, doing this thing. Um, is wood stretching dangerous? Okay. um, I am not a fan of it at all. And that's because down there is very sensitive. It's not like, if you break your arm, we already know the protocol from it. People have been breaking their arms for years, for ages, thousands of years ago, somebody broke their arm. Thousands of years ago, no one was trying to stretch their wood. No, let me correct that. There were different cultures that were trying to do that. The issue is that you can cause irreparable damage. So I'm not a fan of vacuum pumping, anything like that. I mean, a couple of things to understand is that when it comes to, we talked about penis enlargement earlier this week. A couple of things to understand is that the average penis size, they did a study, I think it was like 15,000 men, and it came out at 5.1 inches erect. So, and for a lot of women, it's more about girth than it is about length. So there's that. But also recognizing that, you're typically, most men are between 20 to 30% smaller than they could be. It's because we do these things such as sitting down and not moving a lot, so we don't have the blood flow, we don't have the testosterone levels, and so you can actually get bigger. In fact, I would say one of the ways I got into learning about penis enlargement, and taking it seriously, well, one was finding out there's a such thing as penile atrophy where you get smaller. But the other thing is just understanding, well, basically, here's the story. One day, after been taking, well, good wood, but it was called African Fly back then. I was taking that, and my girl at the time, she just looked down at me. Was like, "Did you get bigger?" I guarantee you want to have that question asked to you several times in your life. That's and yeah, it's because I was taking that supplement and doing, and I was 25 at the time, so a lot of things were going in my favor in terms of I was just getting into being a lot healthier, so that worked. And doing all the things that I'm doing now, I'm still at that size. I would, it's hard to tell, whether or not I got larger because I was freaking 27 years ago. But I haven't shrunk. that's that's a damn sure. That's the most important thing. So there are other ways to take care of that. We talk about the ECS 25 system. We talk about using good wood or good wood advance, using your supplementation game to get bigger. Pulling and stretching on your wood is going to be a problem. Hmm. All right. Have you ever used bovine orchid substance? That would be a no. Because if you're saying bovine, I'm assuming you're saying cow. And if you're saying cow, I'm not putting that in me. No way, no how. Once again, that's just me, my personal preference. I n- I talked in a video before and actually came up with this whole concept called food injury. Um, and let me just go talk about this. I'll close out with this. Mhm. So I was contemplating adding it to my blend, but thinking, yeah, yeah. Um, one quick thing, Mr. Lavelle. Um, you want to be careful with how you're adding stuff in because you need to figure out what works and what doesn't work. If you're taking 17 things at the same time, um, you're not getting an idea of how it's working or what is working. So, and especially if you're taking 17 things at the same time, you need to understand where, what the timeline is for each herb. There's also a such thing as counter indication. Basically, two herbs can work against each other. So you want to do your research into it. Mhm. So, if something ends up working for you, great, but you do want to pay attention to exactly what you're doing. And so, getting back to really quick, food injuries. So, food injuries is basically whenever you eat something, your body's going to inflame. That's just the way it works because it has to go and take care of whatever you just ate. So it's going to focus in on that. What you will notice though, if you eat something that you shouldn't be eating, just like if you have an allergy and your face gets puffy or something like that, that's what's going to happen if you get a food injury. A food injury is like you go ahead, you consume something, you stand up like a half an hour later, and it's like your foot is hurting. You didn't stump your foot, you didn't stub your toe, nothing. All of a sudden, your ankle locked up, your knee locked up, your shoulder, something is not right. You just feel like your fingers just like it's puffy or something like that. That's a food injury. That's an indication that you're not supposed to be eating whatever that is. So you want to be very careful when eating to pay attention to what you just ate. Same thing with the supplements. You just pay attention to what it is that you just ate. Uh-huh. Hmm. All right. Mr. Aki. Hope I'm saying that correctly too. In my 20s, I feel like I'm losing my wood too quick during love sessions. Got you. I'm fit and trained 5 times a week. All right. So, not sure what type of training that you're doing, but this can be a problem. I had a client who he was working out too much. In your 20s, typically that's okay. But what happens whenever you're working out, you're increasing your cortisol levels. So, and cortisol is, that's going to lower your testosterone. Your cortisol level goes up, your testosterone levels go down. You think about cortisol as the stress hormone. We need cortisol. Cortisol actually helps us to wake up, but you need to keep it in check and keep it in balance. We're typically already stressed just mentally, our phones, all this other kind of stuff that's going on. But if you go ahead and add in that you're working out too much, you can increase your cortisol, especially if you're doing really intense workouts. I talked yesterday about the time that I bonked. Like I was doing P90X in the morning and some other workout routine. And I was doing this day after day after day. I woke up one morning and I could not move, not because I was in pain. It was literally my body just like, nah, you have nothing left. So you can go too far. So be very careful with that. Uh-huh. Got the question here. Do you ship Goodwood to Norway? We go wherever United States Postal Service goes. And we'll soon be on, I'm not sure if they have Amazon over there in Norway, but we'll be shipping that way too. So yes. Sorry about that, fellas. People want to call me while I'm on the show. What's going on? All right. All right. Mr. Solomon, what's going on, Wayne? How do you repair food injuries outside of avoiding said food? Um, Fasting. Fasting. The greatest detox ever is water with no food. So after a good 16 to 20 hours, autophagy will set in, which means that your body starts clearing out the dead cells. Another thing to consider also is increasing your plant intake. So what ends up happening, your body works best off of plant fiber. So you have plant fiber in your gut. You have the good bacteria is going to break it down. So whenever you eat food, you have bacteria in your gut, your microbiome that breaks down the food. So when you're breaking down, let's say for me, salmon. Whenever I eat that, my knee gets hurt. My knee go into pain. I don't eat that anymore. Used to love it, used to tear it up, but my body was like, nah, bruh, it's been causing this problem all along. We just one day decided we just gonna let you know. And I was thought I needed to have knee surgery. But you know eating plants is going to help clear that up. It's going to actually, I'll often tell guys who are trying to lose weight or trying to get healthier, before you eat anything, any meal, make sure you're eating some type of plant first. If you're going to eat some breakfast, eat an apple, orange, something like that. Eat a salad before you're eating dinner, something like that. That's going to help repair any food injury that you have. So obviously, yeah, definitely drinking water. Um, yeah, definitely drinking water, eating plants, and giving yourself a fast. All right. Mm-hmm. All right. Uh-huh. All right. Great question. This is Mike again. I wanted to know if you have a meal plan and how I could get a hold of it. Yes, we do have a meal plan. I'm trying to think of how I can get it in here. Um, I will get that into the description of this. We'll probably just I'll push that out there a little bit more. But yeah, we do have a meal plan. We call it the Grown Man's Grocery List, and I have several different recipes and a whole list of things. Basically, like as always, mostly plant based, and a couple of different vegan options in there. But yeah, definitely want to get your plants on in that meal plan. Uh-huh. Uh, any tips to last longer? Yeah. Well, in terms of you know, good wood will help you with that because it's going to increase your stamina. Also, foreplay, oddly enough, is going to help you last longer. The reason for that is that as you're giving the touch, your body's creating all the different chemicals that you need. It's going to actually increase your stamina, and also relax. A lot of times, guys who are need to last longer, who have not necessarily premature ejaculation, but it's just want to be able to last longer. Two things: one, you can take a break. So if you're going for a good 5 minutes, it's like, hey, babe, let's chill out for a second. You don't have to have an orgasm every time. You don't have to bust a nut every time you have sex. So you can take a break and start up again. That's uh, um, a nice way to do it. And also, yeah, just the better shape you are, the more stamina you have, that actually helps. I do believe you said you are. Yep, you work out a lot. so yeah. And you're in your 20s. As you get older, that's going to go further away. So uh keep on living. that's gonna that's gonna work out. All right. Mm-hmm. Yes. Look out for that meal plan. I'll make sure to get that in there. Uh huh. As Wayne says, I can no longer eat salmon, chicken, or red meat. Have up on gave up white meat years ago. Thank you. Yep. Mm-hmm. There we go. So hey, all right, guys, going on 45 minutes here. Look, ran a little bit over time, but I love these conversations and I do appreciate you. Once again, this is Brian, aka Uncle B. This is Goodwood University office hours. We will be back tomorrow talking about how to get harder erections naturally. Yeah, yeah. so 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We'll be getting back into it. I hope you learned something here today. Shout out to everybody. Your great questions. Wayne, Yvonne, Curtis in the house. We appreciate all of y'all. See you next time. This is Brian saying, man, get to work. That's all it is. When it comes to all of this stuff, get to work. Don't wait too long to get your game up and go hard. All right. Peace out.